Hello and welcome to Sunday's edition of News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Let us begin the bulletin with the headlines. Amid opposition's demands for resignation, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj clarifies why she facilitated former IPL chief Lalit Modi's travel outside UK. Thousands of former soldiers joined fight for one rank, one pension, hold protests across the country against the delay in implementation. Facing a massive public backlash, Uttar Pradesh government suspends police officials in journalist murder case. Family members demand CBI probe. And 2 months after joining presidential race, Hillary Clinton holds first official rally of her campaign on Roosevelt Island in New York City. Well, the day's biggest story. The opposition today demanded the resignation of External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj for extending what it claimed was a personal favour to Lalit Modi, the former IPL boss who is facing corruption charges. Now, Swaraj explained the reasons for facilitating Modi's travel outside the UK, while her party members and the RSS came out in her support. Sushma Swaraj on Sunday admitting requesting UK High Commissioner in India to allow Lalit Modi to travel outside the UK. Lalit Modi is staying in the UK since 2010 after his Indian passport was revoked over corruption charges during his stint as former IPL chief. Sushma's admission came after the London-based Sunday Times put the External Affairs Minister at the centre of the controversy. Sushma said she facilitated Modi's travel on humanitarian grounds for his wife's treatment for cancer. The Times reported that Indian origin Labour Party MP in UK, Keith Vass, took the initiative to help Modi. The Congress and other opposition parties have termed Sushma's action a misuse of her position at a time when the Enforcement Directorate has put a lookout notice against him. The party demanded her resignation while pointing fingers against Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well.
भारत की विदेश मंत्री ऐसे व्यक्ति की सिफारिश कर रही हैं जो कि भारत से के कानून से भगोड़ा साबित हो गया है। मैं अपील करता हूं सुषमा जी से कि वे मॉरल ग्राउंड पर तत्काल इस्तीफा दे दें।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कई नेताओं समेत प्रधानमंत्री जी की भूमिका संदेह के घेरे में है, वित्त मंत्रालय की भूमिका संदेह के घेरे में है और एक व्यापक वक्तव्य इस देश के समक्ष श्री नरेंद्र मोदी दें, क्योंकि आम जनमानस की भाषा में कहें तो आज आम जनमानस पूछ रहा है कि क्या मोदी की मदद कर रहे थे।
Initially tight-lipped, ruling BJP and NDA partners later backed the External Affairs Minister. Even the usually silent RSS came out strongly in her defence.
किसी भी व्यक्ति को मानवीय आधार पर उसकी पत्नी की कैंसर का इलाज करने के लिए जब उसके सिग्नेचर की जरूरत हो तब सहायता करने में कोई मॉरल ग्राउंड्स नहीं बनते।
सुषमा जी ने जो कुछ भी किया है वह ठीक किया है और एक मानवीय संवेदना रखने वाले किसी भी व्यक्ति को यही करना चाहिए जो उन्होंने किया है। ब्रिटिश हाई कमिश्नर को केवल इतना ही उन्होंने कहा था कि जो भी आपके रूल्स रेगुलेशंस इजाजत देते हों उन रूल्स रेगुलेशंस के आधार पर आप कर सकते हैं, हमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है।
The opposition also alleged that Sushma Swaraj got her nephew admitted to a law school in the University of Sussex in UK. She, however, refuted the charge, saying the admission process started in 2013 when she was not the External Affairs Minister. This is Akhilesh Suman with Pranab Goswami in Delhi for Rajya Sabha TV. And hundreds of ex-servicemen gathered in the national capital today demanding early implementation of the one rank, one pension scheme. The protesters said that this would serve as a wake-up call for the government, who they allege is turning a blind eye to the issue.
These ex-servicemen assembled at Jantar Mantar in Delhi are here to demand that the one rank, one pension scheme be implemented as soon as possible. The issue was a poll promise of the Narendra Modi government, but not much progress has been made yet. The protesting soldiers had met with Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar as well and were assured that the scheme would be implemented soon. However, a date was not committed.
Even if it's a totally justified thing, 2 parliaments have approved it. Every single national party has said yes, this is a good thing to do. The very first first investigation that was carried out into this matter had said yes, it's a just and the thing to be done, and it must be done. And yet, 32 years later, we are still wondering what's happening.
Prime Minister Modi had reached out to retired soldiers last month in his monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat, assuring them that his government would launch the scheme, but he needed some time.
बेईमानी है सरकार की, वो सैनिकों को कुछ देना नहीं चाहते। 15 अप्रैल को सरकार ने जनरल दलबीर सिंह सुहा को झज्जर भेज के अनाउंस करवाया कि 30 अप्रैल को 1 रैंक 1 पेंशन देंगे। मेरा जनरल साहब से एक प्रार्थना है कि जनरल साहब को इंडियन आर्मी की वर्दी की बेइज्जती समझ के रिजाइन कर देना चाहिए फ्रॉम द चीफ स्टाफ से।
1 rank 1 pension is a long-standing demand of ex-servicemen. It is a demand for uniform pension payment to Defence Forces personnel retiring in the same rank with the same length of service, irrespective of their date of retirement. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And news from down south. Well, search operations for the Coast Guard's Dornier aircraft continue in full swing. The aircraft with 3 personnel on board went missing last Monday. Now, a team of scientists from the National Institute of Ocean Technology have joined the search operation. 4 scientists from the National Institute of Ocean Technology have joined the search for Coast Guard's missing Dornier aircraft. The scientists will help the search and rescue team locate the cockpit voice recorder of the missing plane. The National Institute of Ocean Technology has also diverted its research vessel Sagar Nidhi into the area for augmenting underwater search. Meanwhile, 3 other scientists with expertise in deep ocean technology have also joined the operation. Reports are also awaited of the samples gathered from the oil spill along the Karaikal-Cuddalore coastline on Saturday. A total of 10 ships, including submarine INS Sindhu Rakshak and 2 aircraft, are involved in the search op. The aircraft with 3 crew members on board went missing 6 days ago during a routine maritime surveillance sortie. It took off from Chennai on Monday evening and was last tracked 16 kilometers east off the Chidambaram coast in Trichy. This is the second incident this year involving a Dornier aircraft. In March, 2 crew members of the same aircraft of the Indian Navy were killed when it crashed off the Goa coast. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. In other news, Delhi police has rejected reports that the office of the new anti-corruption branch chief M.K. Meena had been bugged. Police says no surveillance devices were present in the facility. Delhi police said that the electronic device found in Meena's office was defective and had no video or audio recording facilities. Now, no case or inquiry has been launched in connection with the incident. Meena was recently appointed by the Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung, unleashing a fresh tug-of-war between the Delhi government and the LG's office. The Delhi government has refused to acknowledge Meena's authority, asking him to revert to Delhi police as there is no post for an officer of the rank of Joint Commissioner in the ACB.
ये काफी चिंता का विषय है। अरविंद केजरीवाल के शासन में लगता है स्टिंग और गाली गलौज और आरोप, इसके अलावा उनके पास कुछ काम करने के लिए कोई उनके पास न कोई काम करने का इंटरेस्ट है, न काम करने की कोई प्रणालिका उनके पास है।
दिल्ली सरकार भी बगिंग कर रही है अधिकारियों के खिलाफ और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर के अधिकारी भी बगिंग कर रहे हैं दिल्ली सरकार के खिलाफ, तो जांच होगी किसकी बगिंग है।
And in the other big story of the day, the Uttar Pradesh government today finally took action in the murder case of journalist Jagendra Singh in Shahjahanpur district. It suspended 4 police officers pending inquiry. However, State Minister Ram Murthy Verma, who is alleged to have orchestrated the murder, is still at large. Now, his party, the Samajwadi Party, is facing public outrage over the incident, and family members of Jagendra Singh say that nothing short of a CBI inquiry will satisfy them.
5 policemen suspended for the murder of Uttar Pradesh journalist Jagendra Singh. But his family members say that nothing short of a CBI probe can nail the real culprits. They also allege that they were under pressure to hush up the matter.
जांच के नाम पे कुछ नहीं हुआ, बराबर दबाव बनाया जा रहा है, बराबर प्रलोभन दिया जा रहा है कि इतने पैसे ले लो, एक नौकरी ले लो सरकारी, इतने मंथली होगी तनख्वाह, इस तरीके के प्रलोभन दिए जा रहे हैं। हम नहीं मानने तो हमारे रिश्तेदारों तक पहुंच रहे हैं, वहां तक दबाव बनाया जा रहा है इस तरीके का कि समझौता कर लो।
बिल्कुल अनुचित है। आज सस्पेंड होने, कल बहाल होंगे। उन्हें तो बर्खास्त करना चाहिए और उन्हें जेल भेजना चाहिए।
Jagendra Singh was allegedly set on fire during a police raid at his house in Avas Vikas colony of Sadar Bazar area on 1st of June. In his death declaration, he told the police that Uttar Pradesh Minister Rammurthy Verma was behind the murder. The FIR lodged by his son names the backward classes welfare minister Verma as the main accused.
इस पूरे प्रकरण की जांच जब सीबीआई जैसी जांच एजेंसी से कराई जानी चाहिए ताकि निष्पक्षता से जांच हो पाए और पीड़ित परिवार को न्याय मिल पाए। इसके साथ ही तमाम मामलों में मुआवजे की राशि मुख्यमंत्री राहत कोष से दी गई है और इनके परिवार के एकमात्र कमाऊ सदस्य जगेंद्र सिंह जी ही थे। उनकी मौत के बाद इनके परिवार की आर्थिक स्थिति काफी खराब हो गई है। ऐसे में इन्हें तत्काल जीवन यापन के लिए समुचित मुआवजा दिया जाना चाहिए।
The murder provoked a massive outcry in the state against the Samajwadi Party government. Governor Ram Nayak took up the matter with Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav, after which the suspensions were ordered.
पत्रकार को जिंदा जला दिया गया और मरने से पहले उन्होंने बयान दिया था कि मंत्री हमको जेल भिजवा देते, हमको मारा क्यों, जलाया क्यों। तो वो उसका अंतिम बयान है और डाइंग डिक्लेरेशन के बारे में सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी कहती है कि वो सत्य माना जाना चाहिए और इसके बावजूद भी राज्य सरकार उसमें कोई कार्रवाई करने को तैयार नहीं है।
But the real culprit and the minister in Akhilesh Yadav government, who was instrumental in carrying out this dastardly act, is still roaming free. I think it's high time that the minister concerned is picked up, arrested, and forced to resign.
Jagendra Singh reportedly invited the minister's anger by posting reports on Facebook about illegal mining activities and land grabbing. The FIR mentions Inspector Shri Prakash Rai, Gufran, Akash Gupta, Amit Pratap Singh and Bhure along with Minister Verma. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
In other news, the Election Commission has said that it has no power to take action against political parties if they fail to deliver on their election promises. In the same breath, the Commission also asked parties to desist from making such commitments. In reply to an RTI query, the Commission said that even though it has no constitutional power to act, it has framed guidelines to be followed for election manifestos after consultation with all recognized political parties. Now, this after the Supreme Court ordered the Election Commission to do so. In its discussions with the parties, the Election Commission said that for the fair conduct of elections and to accord a level playing field to all the parties and contesting candidates, the effect of poll promises and freebies cannot be disregarded. And for all the other national news and updates, let's take you nationwide. The flood situation in the northeast is showing no signs of letting up. Floodwaters have entered the Kaziranga National Park and another wildlife sanctuary in the state. However, the situation is said to be under control in these protected areas. Cropland covering more than 11,000 hectares have been damaged by the floods so far. Kerala police has arrested 4 CISF personnel in connection with destruction of property during the 10th of June clash at Karipur Airport. On the said day, in the scuffle between Central Armed Police personnel and Airports Authority of India officials, one Jawan had died. The arrested men were identified after review of the CCTV footage of the incident. The arrests followed a complaint by AAI with regard to damage to the airport property. Former Himachal Pradesh Governor and ex-Union Minister Sheila Kaul has died. She was 101 years of age. Kaul was ill for a brief period before her death on Saturday night. Now elected to the Lok Sabha 5 times, Kaul was the oldest surviving former Member of Parliament. Kaul was inducted into the Union Cabinet in the year 1980 as Minister for Education with independent charge and later as Minister for Urban Development. In 1995, she became the Governor of Himachal Pradesh for around a year. Well, time now to take a short break, but coming up next, we get you all the details on news from South Korea, where the hospital identified as the epicenter of the MERS outbreak has suspended services.
Details after this short break. Stay with us.
Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first Prime Minister. And this is the building that became almost synonymous with his legacy.
Jawaharlal ji passed away in 1964, and we decided two things. First of all, that this whole complex would be the national memorial to Jawaharlal Nehru.
Watch it come alive in Nehru Memorial, Preserving Past, only on Rajya Sabha Television.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back after the break. Let's get you some international news now. Well, after 2 months of quiet campaigning, Hillary Clinton took the podium on Roosevelt Island on Saturday, launching her first major rally for her run for the 2016 White House campaign. Now, Hillary employed the populist tone in her campaign, saying that the goal of her presidency would be to tip the nation's economic scales back in favor of the middle class.
Prosperity can't be just for CEOs and hedge fund managers. Democracy can't be just for billionaires and corporations. America can't succeed unless you succeed. That is why I am running for President of the United States.
After months of low-key events since announcing her candidacy in April, Hillary Clinton officially kicked off her 2016 presidential campaign in Roosevelt Island in New York. Against a backdrop of the Manhattan skyline addressing thousands of supporters who braved the sweltering summer heat, Clinton portrayed herself as a champion of progressive causes. The event also saw her husband, former US President Bill Clinton, and their daughter Chelsea in attendance. The first time the family was seen together in public since Clinton began her campaign towards becoming America's first woman president.
They want to take away health insurance from more than 16 million Americans without any credible alternative. They shame and blame women rather than respect our right to make our own reproductive health decisions.
With this aggressive stance, Hillary's campaign team hopes to boost her approval ratings. Even though she is the clear frontrunner to win the Democratic nomination, Clinton has some competition from the left, especially from liberal Bernie Sanders. This is Hillary's second presidential bid. In 2008, she lost in the Democratic Party primaries to current US President Barack Obama. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And as leaders of African nations came together for the African Union Summit on Sunday, Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir was the center of attention. A South African court issued an interim order preventing al-Bashir from leaving the country until the judge hears an application calling for his arrest. Now, al-Bashir is accused in an international criminal court arrest warrant of war crimes and crimes against humanity over atrocities in the Darfur conflict. In his order, the judge said that if Bashir was allowed to leave the country, it would damage South Africa's reputation. The International Criminal Court had earlier called upon authorities in South Africa to arrest al-Bashir. An arrest warrant was issued against him in the year 2009. Now, al-Bashir took power in a bloodless coup in Sudan in 1989, and he has won 3 elections since. He heads one of Africa's most repressive regimes, standing accused of adopting legislation that boosted his powers, repressing demonstrations and arresting opponents. Now, according to United Nations estimates, 3 lakh people are estimated to have been killed over the past decade in Darfur, where fighting broke out in the year 2003 between the government forces and armed rebel groups. And in news from US, Tbilisi residents are being asked to stay indoors after lions, bears and a hippopotamus escaped from a local zoo in the Georgian capital following floods that killed at least 9 people. Now, authorities are still trying to track down the animals, even as a hippopotamus was shot with a tranquilizer dart while eating leaves off a tree in front of a shop. Take a look.
Heavy rains flooded streets and homes in Georgia on Sunday. The Ver River flowing through Tbilisi turned into a torrent that swept away dozens of buildings and cars. At least 9 people died. Deadly zoo animals were left prowling the roads after floodwaters damaged their cages, allowing them to escape. More than 30 animals escaped from the zoo overnight. Among them were tigers, lions, bears, wolves and a hippopotamus. Some were killed or tranquilized, but residents were advised to stay indoors till the animals could be captured. Emergency services were forced to use rafts to navigate the city's streets in order to reach stranded residents. Authorities said the damage could amount to millions of dollars. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And a prestigious hospital in Seoul run by the Samsung Group has partially suspended its operations after becoming the center of the country's MERS outbreak. The decision came after the hospital was identified as the epicenter of the outbreak. As 7 more cases were reported, the Samsung Medical Center suspended all non-emergency surgery and said that it will take no more patients. All of South Korea's MERS cases are believed to be linked to hospitals or related services and traced back to businessmen returning from the Middle East.
메르스 총력 대응을 위하여 부분적으로 병원을 폐쇄하겠습니다. 외래 진료 및 입원을 한시적으로 제한하며 응급수술을 제외하고는 수술 및 응급 환자의 진료도 한시적으로 중단하겠습니다.
And for more international stories, here is Global Buzz. According to a newspaper report, Britain has pulled out its agents from live operations in hostile countries after Russia and China cracked top-secret information leaked by former US NSA contractor Edward Snowden. British Security Service MI6, which operates overseas and is tasked with defending British interests, has removed agents from certain countries. An Israeli army jeep struck and killed a Palestinian in the occupied West Bank on Sunday, with the military and locals giving conflicting accounts of the circumstances. A military spokesperson said that the jeep, which was in Kafr Malik village as part of an operation to arrest suspected militants, accidentally hit the Palestinian after he threw a petrol bomb at it. A man unleashed a barrage of gunfire and explosives at the police headquarters in the US city of Dallas. Police snipers, however, shot dead the assailant a few hours later. According to the Dallas police chief, the assailant was motivated by personal grievances and has no connection to any terrorist group. No police officer was injured in the attack. Indonesia's Mount Sinabung volcano erupted, sending ash into the sky as more than 2,700 people have been evacuated. This eruption is the latest after the volcano was placed at its highest alert level earlier in June. Columns of ash spewing as high as 3 kilometers could be seen from a nearby town. Lava spread around 1 kilometer to the south and the east. No casualties were, however, reported, as most of the residents near the area were evacuated on time. Let's now get you all the sporting action in Sports Beat. The rain-affected test match between India and Bangladesh meandered to a dull draw on 5th day on Sunday. Bangladesh managed just 23 runs in their second innings after being asked to follow on. Opener Imrul Caves contributed 7 runs, while Tamim Iqbal scored 16 runs. After this result, India has slipped to 4th position in the latest ICC Test rankings.
2 runs out that over.
Fourth seeds Rohan Bopanna and Florin Mergia of Romania have got the doubles title at the ATP Mercedes Cup. They defeated the Brazilian-Austrian pair of Bruno Soares and Alexandra Peya 5-7, 6-2, 10-7 in the finals. Rafael Nadal defeated Serbia's Viktor Troicki 7-6, 6-3 to become the first man to win clay and grass titles at the Stuttgart Open. Now, this was Nadal's 66th career title and a third in this tournament. The Spaniard now owns 4 grass titles, including 2 at Wimbledon and 2008 Queen's Club, London. Cristiano Ronaldo hat-trick gave 10-man Portugal a 3-2 win at Armenia in the 2016 European Championship qualifier on Saturday. Marcos Pizzelli scored from a free kick for Armenia in the 14th minute, but Ronaldo converted a penalty to level before half-time. Ronaldo then scored twice in the 55th and the 58th minute to secure victory and keep Portugal at the top in Group 1. Lucas Barrios scored in the 90th minute to give Paraguay a dramatic 2-2 draw against Argentina in the Copa America on Saturday. The Argentines looked to be cruising to a victory after first half goals from Sergio Aguero and Lionel Messi, but striker Nelson Valdez pulled a goal back for Paraguay before Barrios earned his side a point in the final minute. Well, that's all in this edition of news. But before we go, a prince and a TV star. Sweden witnessed a royal wedding on Saturday. Prince Carl Philip married former model and reality TV star Sofia Hellqvist in the Royal Palace in Stockholm. Now, several 100,000 well-wishers lined the streets to bless the couple. Let's take a look at the glimpses of this fairy tale royal wedding as we take your leave. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Ta dig, ta feeling.